So I had a different topic planned for the podcast today, but I realized that this sort of conversation is what this whole thing is supposed to be about. Striving to succeed as a black man in America despite the constant weight that's tied around our neck that is slavery, Jim Crow, and institutional racism that rots away at every corner of this country. I do my best to focus on what I can control and what I can impart on others. Productivity tips, my thoughts and my personal experience with health and wellness, political advocacy, shit. Good cigar and wine to ease tension at the end of a long day. But none of that shit matters when I see my people being systematically exterminated. Either killed outright through state-sanctioned violence, the residual effects of poverty, a healthcare system that fails us, or in the case of Lafayette Parish Deputy Clyde Kerr III, killed by insanity. Recently, I've been attempting through my own little digital detox to steer clear of news feeds, for the last month or so. And to be honest, part of it is just, I'm tired. Tired of watching my people get mowed down and displayed across news feeds week after week. It becomes draining. Seeing America step on and step over us time and time again, it eats away at you after a while. But this day, while sitting in the car waiting for my wife to come back out from the store, I scrolled my news feed and stumbled upon the story of the black sheriff's deputy who shot himself in the head outside of the sheriff's office. His brother was 43 years old, a military vet who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. Just prior to taking his life, Kerr, made some social media posts condemning institutionalized racism, talking about his struggle as a black law enforcement officer in a system that he says condones police brutality against black people. In his own words, let me go ahead and read this. "I've had enough of all this nonsense serving a system that does not give a damn about me or people like me," Kerr said. "You have no idea how hard it is to put a uniform on in this day and age with everything that's going on. This is my protest against police brutality and everything else that comes along with it in this broken, wicked, worldly system that does not give a damn about people." Now, I don't know anything about this brother outside of what I've been able to gather through my own web search and news feeds. I certainly don't condone his action, especially not killing himself. And I don't know what type of life he led before his untimely death. But I do know the crushing and often helpless feeling of trying to survive and thrive as a black man in America, specifically when you descend from chattel slavery in this country. And add to that the deplorable job this country does of caring for the mental wellness of its military vets, then double that with non-existent mental health geared to black American men. According to the CDC, suicide is the third leading cause of death for black males aged 15 to 24. Suicide rates in general have doubled amongst black men since 1980. I'm reminded of a popular quote by James Baldwin. To be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious is to be in a state of rage almost all of the time. The only thing I would add to this is that a conscious Negro is in a state of both rage and insanity. Over the course of the last few years, my own eyes have been open to both the true history of U.S. freedmen in this country and the dire current state of things. I've come to understand that income is not an indicator of wealth. When instead using net worth as the baseline, Black Americans are truly a bottom caste to the tune of 17,000 median net worth compared to 170K for white Americans. I've come to understand that there are more Black men in prison in the U.S. than all of the women across the entire world. My eyes have been open to the countless massacres of Black towns swept under the rug of America's hidden history. I've studied the promises of Reconstruction and reparations that never came. Real economic stability and being made whole, the full American citizens that we were supposed to be, was sabotaged and still hasn't happened. I could go on, but the point is, once your eyes have been open, once you understand who you are, what your people have truly been through, once you no longer believe the lies and can analyze the history and the data for yourself, it takes you to a new place. This new place begins as one of hope and a belief that armed with knowledge, data, and the drive to share what you have learned, that you can make a change. Over time, though, that optimism is chiseled away and replaced by a hazy cloud of insanity. This country works so damn hard at distorting reality in order to maintain the current pecking order that even when you know the truth, you begin to feel like you, in fact, are the one that's crazy. When your eyes are opened and you fully realize the state that we're living in as a people and the direction things are headed, when you attempt to live that truth against the manufactured veil of American democracy, you are by definition insane. You are foolish, irrational, and you are slowly driven to madness. The only way that you can not be in that state is to instead choose ignorance. This is the reason why, in my opinion, it's often so difficult to get Black people to want to see the truth. Because they know it's there. They choose not to embrace that truth because they'd rather live in ignorance, especially if they believe that real freedom is not possible. Too many of us believe that. It's easier to live in the ignorance, but be sane. And at the end of the day, we're all living organisms fighting to survive at the most basic level. People just want to live in the most comfortable, flourishing way they possibly can. And I can't blame them. If you believe that white America is impossible to beat, eventually you will just settle into the current reality. You will settle into not fighting and will instead try to make as comfortable of an existence as you can. I believe that's what Officer Kerr tried to do, like many of us. There comes a point, however, when two realities simply cannot exist at the same time. For Clyde Kerr, that collision of realities, I'm sure, was heightened by the fact that he was a law enforcement officer. Not a path I would choose, but to each his own. But once you have reached that relatively conscious place, as Baldwin so eloquently put it, normal life is no longer an option. You have three choices: ignorance, action, or death. I've chosen action because I can't stomach ignorance. I pray to God, however, that in this daily fight, I'm able to maintain enough sanity to stay afloat.